It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Insight program. Tonight, I've got my cousin Joe Baruffi, who is once again the mayor of Minatola, Buena, and Landisville, right?
Buena Borough.
Buena Borough.
All three equals
Is that
Buena
what,
Borough.
is that what it's called?
Yeah, we have different sections, but it's Buena Borough.
Okay, that makes sense then, because a lot of people get confused. Buena Vista Township is out Mill May area. And
Richland, Collins Lakes,
they got
Newtonville, they have 44 square miles.
That's Millville's 45. That's pretty good.
And we're 7.5, Buena Borough.
Oh, so you got it made. You can walk from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Buena Borough. Anyway, Joe and I are cousins because he married my lovely cousin Jill Curley. And of course, Harry Curley is his father-in-law and is my cousin. My grandmother was a Curley. There were 12 of them. Well, actually 13. One passed away when he was little. But they had 9 boys and 3 girls. And they actually had a semi-pro baseball team.
Yeah, they're in Cooperstown.
Yeah, they are. I saw the picture in Cooperstown, too. So they're still around. Rob Curley, whose dad was Bob Curley. Bob, his grandpa, was a councilman in Bridgeton. Of course, your father-in-law was mayor of Vineland. I was the mayor of Millville. And you've been the mayor of Buena Borough for, now, you just came back.
Came back right? After 8 years in retirement. I
got bored or what?
Well, I guess you could say that a little bit, but for 8 years I retired from Millville Public Schools. I was an administrator there. And when I retired as the mayor, about the same time, within 6 months, my grandchildren were a lot younger, and Jill and I spent a lot of time with them. So
that's nice.
That 8 year period, it was nice to be a part of their lives. And now they're older. One's driving. She has her license.
Now tell us who your grandchildren are so we get some recognition.
Gianna Capriati. She's a senior at Olma.
Oh, that's great.
And Gino Capriati. He's in 6th grade at the Egerton School in Newfield.
Yes, right.
So the mother is my daughter, Krista. Krista Baruffi Capriati. She is a school teacher at Egg Harbor Township. Joy Miller School for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's done very well there. And then my youngest daughter, Jenna Tellerico, she does not have any children right now, but she works at the Atlantic County Board of Elections.
Oh, okay.
In Atlantic County.
That's great.
She's the Republican supervisor of the Board of Elections for Atlantic County.
They must have a hard time finding a Democrat, don't they, in Atlantic County? They do in Cumberland County now, too. I know that.
She started that job about a year and a half ago. She married my son-in-law, Justin, and Chris is married to Nick.
Now, tell me about Justin and Nick. Those names are familiar. Capriati is...
Yeah, Nick Capriati. He works for Harrah's. He's an executive there.
Harrah's?
The casino.
Oh, Harrah's.
Harrah's
gotcha.
Casino.
Okay.
He's been with them for the longest time. A graduate of St. Augustine Prep.
That's good.
And Justin works for Geico Insurance.
Oh, that's good.
Out of Marlton. And he's also a graduate of St. Augustine Prep.
So it's the prep or Alma, right?
So, yeah. My 2 public school daughters graduated Buena, and they married 2 guys from...
Oh, okay.
That went to St. Augustine Prep. Their father was a public school guy. Day one, but it's all good. I like the prep. I refereed a lot of games there through the years.
Yeah.
Many good friends there. They get a great education there. So.
Yeah, in fact, the mayor, Fanucci, is a graduate of prep.
Yeah,
exactly. So, yeah, it's a great school, no question. As is Alma. There's, in fact, before we went on the air, Joe and I were talking about his officiating days. Because how many years did you officiate basketball?
46 years.
Geez, you started when you were 5?
18, right out of high school.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I got involved at the time. Jerry Nolan.
Oh, I remember Jerry.
He was my principal at Cleary School. Yeah. Between he and John Parentazzi, he was very influential in my life, getting me the referee, and Lou Grilly.
Oh, I remember
talking some old timers.
Yeah. Well, when I did the basketball, all those guys, I used to do the games on radio back in the 70s.
I remember that.
So that's why I would remember those guys. Yeah. You always teamed up, too. You know,
they always teamed up.
And we wanted to talk about
teamed up, Mavilling and Keith Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking
Keith
about
and I were partners for 20 years.
What a great guy.
Great guy.
Personality.
Great family. Carmen Jones.
Yeah. Well, they grew up a block down the street from my aunt and uncle, Bill and Alice Felmy. So I knew the Jones family.
McNeil Street?
We have McNeil Street, yeah.
Street.
Yeah, and then Felmy's moved to Foundry Street, another 2 blocks away. But yeah, they were great people, good people.
Keith used to say they were from the Bloody Third.
Yeah, they were. That's right. So, now it is bloody because the Bloods and Crips are around the Third.
Yeah.
So.
And I got to be friendly with Marty Cavanaugh through Keith.
Yeah.
Timmy Shannon, we talked about him earlier. Great guy, great mayor, great person. Got to meet a lot of people. Billy Nichols, Steve Young.
Yeah.
I could go on and on. And Irene Johnson was my boss. So when I opened up
right.
Silver Run School in '92, and Axel, her husband, refereed basketball for many years.
That's right. Yeah, he did.
So during my 24-year stay there, I met a lot of really good people from Millville.
That's great.
That experience will go with me for life.
Axel was my phys ed teacher.
Was he?
Yeah, when he was just out of college and I was at Millville High. And in fact, he's still doing well. I see him every once in a while.
That's great.
Yeah, he's been doing really well. Yeah. But we're talking with Joe Baruffi, who is the mayor of Buena Borough.
Yes.
Okay, which includes Landisville, Minatola,
and
Buena. So you got the 3 places. And as Joe said, there's 7.5 miles. Is it
or so? 7.5.
And one of the things that Joe and I were talking about before we went on was about Liberty Village, and the beautiful. In fact, you said they're going to expand Liberty Village. You think? Possibly?
Yes. When I was mayor back in the early 2000s, Mr. Carpino, Frank Carpino, the proprietor, came to me. We had informal meetings, and he went before. Back then was planning and zoning to get approvals to do a major project in the Landisville section of Buena. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it was in 2008 when the economy tanked.
Yes,
and he was ready to pursue those plans, and had to take a leave on that. And then I've been out of office 8 years, but like 2 years ago, he revisited the land use board, and just updated his approvals, and he's just finishing his 44th home in there.
Wow, that's great.
Decorative lighting, sidewalks, premier, grass, all the maintenance is taken care of. So it's basically a little village off the pathway, and the borough gets money in lieu of taxation because that property is maintained by him.
It's leased land. Yeah,
yes. Right. So the roads for snow, any improvements that way, that's not trash collection. He pays on his own.
Yeah. Well, you know what else you get, though, from that? You get you already have super people in Buena Borough, but you get some really great people that locate there because it's 55 and over. And
55 and over.
Former teachers or nurses, whatever, and they volunteer. I mean, that's the nice thing. I see in Millville, his Liberty Village down there, Barbara Morrow is a good friend of mine. She lives there, a lot of wonderful people, and they volunteer. And we have 4 Seasons out on Buckshootum Road in Millville, too. Same thing. That's the nice thing about having 55 and over communities. And they put no pressure on the school. They have no children. And they don't put pressure on your police department, which we're going to talk about in a minute, because when you were last in office...
it was Buena Borough Police Department.
Right. And since then, now you have...
Franklin Township Police Department that covers us. But
it's a shared service, right?
It is a shared service that was done under prior administration for a multitude of reasons. Portability probably at the top of the list. We talked about budgets and public safety costs. But getting back to Liberty Village just for a moment, one of your buddies lives there, a good friend of mine, Nelson Albano.
Oh, no kidding.
The former assemblyman
that's fantastic.
Is there.
That's great.
So, in fact, I met him. He works for one of the funeral, maybe Roan's part-time.
Okay, right.
And I met him last year, and he told me, I'm your neighbor now, married, coming up. So
that's great.
Liberty Village, he loves it there.
Yeah, they're beautiful homes. They really are. And it's set up really nice. And as you said, they take care of everything.
They do. And there's a proposal on the books now, preliminary proposal in Minatola section, to do another 30-some units.
And again, it's good people. They're not going to impose on your police department. The only thing they may need is the rescue squad from time
which
to time.
We have full-time now.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me before we went on.
But getting back to the police, I did meet the chief last couple of weeks. We met yesterday from Franklin Township. They're very put together force. I think he told me 44 full-time.
Wow. That's
and
great.
I would say maybe 10 part-time, but
Uh-huh.
they have 4 detectives. For a township, it's quite impressive.
Yes, it is.
We talked. He gave me a lot of statistics. Gave a whole year in review. It's on our website that you can read about what they do, how they do it, and how they're accessible to the people.
That's good.
He's encouraging police officers to get involved with the community, the kids, especially these days.
That's super.
To let them know that the police are there for them, to assist them, to guide them.
That's nice.
To be a positive role model. So in my meeting with Chief yesterday, we had a real good discussion about all this. So I'm looking forward to working with them.
Now they also do Newfield as well.
They also picked up Newfield.
That's
I understand.
Great.
So
and
it's
you're all together.
and we're all basically connected with one another.
Yeah.
They're Gloucester County, we're Atlantic County. That being the big difference. But when I was mayor back in the 2000s, we did interlocal agreements with the court. So we have our court system with Franklin Township, and we have our central dispatch with Gloucester County, which is in Franklin Township. Clayton, I believe, is the area. So we did interlocals now. I've been a mayor that's believed in that, saving taxpayers' money, because that's one of my primary focuses. Yeah. And so far, it's been a good marriage. Yeah, well, and as you say, it saves the taxpayers. You're sharing services rather than just doing everything individually, and that really makes a lot of sense. We're talking with Mayor Joe Baruffi from the wonderful borough of Buena, and we'll be back with Mayor Baruffi right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
Since taking office, a top priority for my administration has been focused on improving residential roadways, which improves the flow of traffic, helps to beautify our streetscapes, and makes our community more accessible. To date, we've completed nearly 33 miles of improvements, and plans for 2022 include an additional 13 miles. Many also include sidewalk and drainage improvements. I am often asked how roads are selected for attention. While there are several factors to consider, roads are primarily selected based on a rating system which evaluates the pavement distress using 5 factors. In this way, each segment of a roadway is assigned a pavement condition index value, which is a numerical indicator between 0 and 100. So far this year, 6th Street from Landis to Park, along with pavement preservation projects on portions of 19 residential streets, have been completed. Palermo Ave is currently being prepared for repaving, and the Garden and Mill traffic signal project is well underway. In the upcoming weeks, resurfacing work will begin on 9 additional roads, including portions of Covered Bridge Road, Fairmount Avenue, Spring Road, Strawberry Avenue, and Venetia Avenue, along with repaving at a number of public properties. 3 additional major projects are scheduled to begin before the end of the year, including the reconstruction of West Ave from Oak to Wheat, Landis Avenue Phase 6, from Mill to Route 55, and the reconstruction of South 7th Street from Chestnut to Landis. We appreciate the public's patience as you may experience some delays or detours. However, these improvements will benefit you with a smoother ride and help reduce maintenance costs on your vehicle.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. I'm Jim Quinn. With me is Mayor Joe Baruffi from the wonderful Buena borough, which is Buena, Landisville, and Minatola. Now, it is a borough, right?
It's a borough.
Shiloh in Cumberland County is a borough.
Yeah, at one time, it was part of Buena Vista Township.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So whenever the year that was formed, those three sections you just mentioned were all part of that. And then in 1949, doing the history, which I minored in history in college, they succeeded from the township and created this map with these three sections for Buena Borough.
I see.
With the foresight of, sidewalks, sewage, and water. Back in those days in the 50s, that was progressive.
Yeah, it was.
And people like Bruno Mellini, who was a founding father.
Mellini Park, right?
Mellini Park, they named after him.
Yeah.
He owned Mellini Goodyear.
Oh, okay.
He died at an early age of 50 years old in 1961.
Is he in Vineland with Mellini Tire?
Yes, he was the Mellini Tire, the original.
Yeah.
He he was also the first council president from Buena Borough in 1949.
Okay. Who was the first mayor of Buena Borough?
It was Bill Danini.
Okay.
In fact, I gave a little lesson on when I had the swearing in last Tuesday night at Borough Hall. I had, for some reason, all their portraits were down in back of me and the dice. And I had them all restored.
Oh, that's nice.
Bruno Mellini's portrait was never there. So Betty Testa, his daughter, was able to give me her father's
that's
portraits.
Fantastic.
So I have that right behind me. And Bill Denise. So we have some of our founding fathers. Judge Capizzola, Pete Capizzola.
Oh,
Pete.
Who doesn't love Pete?
From Newfield Bank.
Yeah, exactly.
He and I went to school together, lifelong childhood friends.
Yeah, what a great guy.
But his grandfather, Pete, was our first judge in Buena Borough.
Oh,
Pete
wow.
Capizzola, Sr. So Pete's up there. We have Cosmo Ike Giovinazzi, was one of the longest serving councilmen, council president, who I learned under back in '87. And who else is up there? Joe Sanigator, a former police chief, who's still serving on the MUA board as chairman. He was council president. Been serving 6 decades for the borough.
That's fabulous.
So, yeah, I did a bit of history during that. We had a packed room last Tuesday night.
Tell everybody what happened last Tuesday night.
And
you got sworn in, right?
I got sworn in, yeah. It was swearing in at Buena Borough Hall. Those portraits were up. We have the Buena Borough Wall of Fame I put back up.
Oh, that's neat.
And that's a section of the council chambers where back in the 2000s, I had a big sign, Buena Borough Wall of Fame. And we have a section where it honored a lot of the former employees that were there,
that's nice.
Council people that served. We had nameplates and recognition. And I also, Jim, when I was in the office before, I recognized people from the community for outstanding service.
That's nice.
Businesses. Yeah. So we have proclamations and resolution copies that were framed that are also on there.
Oh, that's great.
So I plan to reinstitute that.
Yeah.
I have some people already in mind that I've given council some names that I like to honor throughout the year because, council meetings are meant for business to do the city's business, but it's also meant to recognize your community members, your youth. We did baseball teams, Buena. It's just a good, inspirational, motivational type of thing. So when you come to a council meeting, you're just not hearing reports and hearing budgets.
Right. Yeah.
And
They're a little
all
boring.
the stuff that, as a mayor, I got to deal with now. But
well, I got to tell you, folks, Joe and I were doing a show several years ago, and I got talking about Dennis Scarola and Petey Cap and a whole bunch of different people that I really like, and you tapped me, you go, Jim, what do they all have in common? Well, as I listened to this whole array, there's no Irishman up there. Everybody's Italian, and they are great people. Honest to God, and I mean, I love Mayor Finucci, too. And I went to Italy. Oh, my God, Joe. They are the warmest, friendliest people you'd ever meet. And, of course, you're lucky you were descendant of Italian parents. And, they really, and honestly, if you look at Vineland, and we go down the list, and you were just talking about all the people, in Buena Borough. And gosh, there's just, most of them are Italian, and they're wonderful people. They really are.
And what's even more amazing, I took a Irish, German, and
That's
Dutch
true,
girl
you did. Yeah, my
44
cousin.
years ago.
Yeah, as your bride.
Brought her to Buena Borough, as, my bride. And we've been there. I've been there all my life. I'm 67 years old. I never moved from Buena.
Oh, that's great.
And I took my wife, Jill, from
Yes.
Violin,
Yeah.
and that's where we raised our family and bought a home in Minatola. And Jill and I are still there to this day. But
Tell everybody what Jill's doing tonight. She's always working at the church.
Jill is the head of the music ministry of our church, Our Lady of Blessed Sacrament, which comprises of 4 churches: St. Michael's in Minatola, Our Lady of Victories in Landisville, St. Rose of Newfield,
Wow.
and St. Mary's of Malaga.
Wow.
So, our churches went under a consolidation plan about 10 years ago, maybe a little further, with the shortage of priests and everything else. Right now they're being forced to do that.
Yeah.
And our pastor, Father Ariel Hernandez, asked her about 8 years ago to take on the music ministry director.
Great.
And let me tell you, she puts in a lot of hours. You talk about a part-time, full-time job.
Yeah.
She does, but she does it with passion. She sang in the choir. She was a singer for years. So she's enjoying it in our later years now.
Yeah.
And again, that's why she gave me the blessing to go back into something I did part-time, that I'm now a full-time, part-time mayor of Buena, because I'm retired from Millville Public Schools.
Wow.
So it's, we have time on our hands. So we're giving back. I look at it as giving back to the community.
Did you ever think about being a deacon in the church? Of course, now that you're married, you wouldn't have enough time.
At one time, I did, Jim, but I was so busy at that time.
Yeah.
I had the age, and now I'm too old
Yeah.
because I think you have to be 60 or less.
Right. Yeah.
But I am very committed to the church.
Yeah. Well, you got a
my
great
faith.
personality. Deal with people.
Yeah, I'm from Father Mussolini all the way to Father Ariel now. Again, I've been at the same church
Yeah, that's great.
or parish.
Yeah. Right.
And I was on a pastoral council for the last 8 years, and I just told Father, with me taking over the mayorship, that I'm going to be resigning, and my time is now occupied for the citizens of Buena.
And they're lucky to have you. And
Thank you.
So let's talk about how many years you've served in Buena Borough and how many as councilman and a mayor. What was the total amount?
In 1987, I was appointed to a seat on council.
Okay.
With a vacancy from Jerry Zapparello. I had to resign due to health reasons, and I was there for I thought it was going to be a couple years. I was told by Pete D'Andrea, who was one of my political mentors.
What a great
You
guy.
know, the D'Andrea
Another
family.
great. They're super people also.
And the father, Pete, was my man, Marie.
Yeah.
I love Marie. She's still in our church and active.
Uh-huh.
But Pete was my mentor, and he said, Joe, just try a couple of years. That's all. You don't have to go long.
Yeah.
We think you'd be good. You're young. School teacher, coach, referee. So I said, all right, Pete. So a couple of years turned into 28 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah, I was on from 87 to almost 2000 as council
Uh-huh.
and president 10 years. And then Gene Inetti had retired, left.
Another good guy.
Another good guy. I served as council president for 10 years under him. And he retired from Stratford schools and moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
So he left in the middle of his
Facebook
term.
friends with him, yeah.
And then I took over right around 2000, 2001 and ran 4 terms and won.
Wow.
And I was the mayor for 15 years.
And you're a good Republican, thank God.
And I'm Republican by party.
Yes, exactly.
When I say I'm, Republican by party is, just my values and my, beliefs. Although a lot of my family has been Democrats too, and I respect them and their beliefs. And it was, to me, in politics, it's all about getting along with one another and compromising. Right now, my full council is Republican, and I'm Republican.
Mm-hmm.
But there were times when I was the mayor, I had a couple Democrat council people, and I always took consensus and treated them as fairly as the Republicans. And I said, Joe Baruffi's political one day out of the year.
Yeah,
and that's election day.
Yeah.
And that's when I go and I, do my, for the people I believe in,
Sure.
I work hard for them, and they're the people in county government, used to be freeholders, but commissioners now that I'm going to need to talk to.
Yeah.
Assembly people, Congressman Van Drew, he was on a phone call with him Friday night, and he's already calling me back how he wants to help UNA out, and a couple of things I have ideas about.
Right.
So, again, if you cross party lines for the betterment of the people, I think that's important.
Well, and
I think this country,
Yeah.
if they would take more of a lead like that, both ends, the Republicans and Democrats, and not be so stronghold and voting one just because you're a Republican, I'm going to vote this or a Democrat this way. I like the Reagan Tip O'Neill days.
Yeah, me
when
too.
President Reagan was president and Tip O'Neill was the House Speaker,
Right.
a leading Democrat. Those guys put the political differences aside and worked and provided legislation for the people.
Yeah.
And Jim, that's been missing
Oh,
for
Joe.
a lot of years. I hate to talk national front, but we have a big election coming up. And all this decisiveness and this fighting.
It is. It's the worst I've ever seen in the country. It's so divided. It's sad.
It is sad.
It really, like when you were saying, when I was a county freeholder, Chuck Fisher was the director when I first got on. And he used to say to us, you leave the D and the R in the car. Forget about parties. You're here to help the people, which is what you're saying too. And you got to do what's best for the people. And that's
absolutely.
And you know what I really like, and of course I should have run independently last time I ran for elected office. I liked running as me in Millville. I was just me. I was a registered Democrat, because I had been a county freeholder. And this was a funny story, Joe. In 1980, 81, I was an independent, and I went to a couple of Democratic things, and they asked me to MC them. I had a portable PA system, so I did. And they came up to me in 81. They said, "Hey, Jim, we need somebody from Millville area to run for freeholder." I said, "I'm not a Democrat." They said, "Well, what are you, Republican?" I said, "No, really, I'm an independent." I actually had talked about becoming a Republican years back, but a friend of mine, I asked him, he goes, "Jim, there's really no Republican Party in Millville at this time." So I just stayed independent. Well, then I thought, well, I always wanted to run for office. At that time, I lived in Morrisville Township, so I couldn't run for Millville. They said, "Yeah, I will." And then I ran, and fortunately in 82, I won and got to serve. But again, some of the people that I served with were really good people. Jimmy Fortunato was Republican. The Congressman Lobiando, Republican. We got a lot of stuff done. And I'll tell you, one of the best Republicans, and again, this fits two bills. One of the best people I've ever served with in my life also has to be Italian.
Who's that?
Joe Sparaccio. Oh my God, what a tremendous guy. He and I sat next to each other, and I mean, he serves in the military. Unfortunately, that's why he didn't continue running. But one of the nicest men, he introduced me to his family. Great people, his dad, his brother, just wonderful people. But it comes back to that Italian thing. You say, and I'm telling you, I really enjoy being with those people. And, and I'm happy that Jimmy Sorrow got reelected or got elected this time around. And,
Jimmy's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, well, you guys,
basketball. We've been friends since 1976, I believe. I entered the basketball officiating world in 74, and then Jimmy in 76. And also Paul Spinelli, I believe, was 76.
Yeah, another great guy,
He's a very dear friend of mine. We worked together on the executive board for years. And Paul's a public servant, city councilman in Vineland.
Yes, he is.
I read a lot of good things about him. Unfortunately, as we drift away, although we're good friends, we don't see each other as much as we used to.
Without the basketball.
And we miss that. But we had a good ride together.
It's funny, election night, Nick Aseldo was on. Well, you used to come. You and Harry.
Nick was our senator in Sellyman.
Absolutely. One of the best people I know. And he was on the election night with me. So I had sent Erica Milborn to the Democratic headquarters to call in with interviews, and Paul Spinelli with the Republican headquarters. Never heard from Erica because they had no winners. And Paul did a great job, interviewed a bunch of the people for me, and we talked.
Good.
In fact, Paul's hosted this show for me from time to time, too. Yeah, and I'll tell you what he and his wife did for Christmas here in Buena, old-fashioned Christmas. Oh my God, Josie! Wow, they put together a phenomenal.
That's great.
Horse and buggy rides, and they had Santas, they had pictures, they had all these things. Old-fashioned Christmas for Vineland, and of course, I love Mayor Finucci and the city of Vineland's doing super. And boy, the growth that Vineland has been fabulous too. With West Landis Avenue, all the things that have happened there. Now, I guess people in the Buena Borough area probably come to the shop right over here. Is there?
Yes, Landis shop, right? That's
the closest
where I
one.
attend.
Right.
Go to. Yeah. Most of them, I would say, because we're about 3 or 4 minutes from here.
Yeah, right.
To Buena Borough.
Yeah.
Because when you enter the line there, you enter Minatola section, and then near Borough Hall and the railroad tracks, you're in Landisville. And where the Wawa is, that's the Buena section on Route 40.
Oh, okay.
That's the smallest section of the borough.
Gotcha.
From where the Wawa is, Maurizio's Pizzeria, all that development, the dollar store, into about, I would say, 200 yards down, and then it becomes Landisville, most of the rest of that section.
Well, and also I asked Joe to come and sit in because the mayor of Vineland, Mayor Finucci, was unavailable to make it this month. And of course, Joe just got elected back as the mayor. And we had, and I got to tell you, folks, I want to talk about the Queen restaurant for a minute. This is a fabulous deal. Joe and I both had the exact same thing. We both had turkey dinners with stuffing and Brussels sprouts, which were delicious, and salad. And our dessert is waiting for us when we get done doing the show to take home. And you know how much that cost? I told Joe I'm treating because I knew it was reasonable. It only cost us $30 for 2 complete turkey dinners with salad, with vegetable and the stuffing. And
it was excellent.
It really was. And it was like, $30 for 2. And dessert as well. So, I mean, salad, dessert, and the meal. And also, while we're talking about that, here's the choice of the meals that you can get. Chicken parm with your choice of pasta, Italian-style meatloaf, baked ziti parmesan, baked homemade lasagna, eggplant parmesan, grilled marinated chicken, baked stuffed shells, sauteed calf's liver. That you don't have to worry about me ever eating. Sauteed chicken scampi, roast turkey that Joe and I had, and spaghetti with meatballs. And of course, as we talked about, that includes salad and dessert as well, and great vegetable.
Great service.
It is. They were super, weren't they? Yes, they did a wonderful job. And Yilmaz Kankel is a great guy. This is one of the prettiest restaurants you're going to see. I mean, he took and made this beautiful. It's a really pretty place. And also, they have the Cedar Rose Winery. So if you want a bottle of wine while you're here, you can get that.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a handsome Yilmaz right there. What a great guy. Well, you know what, Joe? That leads me into one of your favorite restaurants. When you think about it, when Joe and I, and most of you that lived in Cumberland County, grew up, you had Lefty Klikos, you had a lot of the Greek, right, the presidents, you had a lot of the Greek. And in fact, I still love Olympia. I had dinner there last night.
Very good.
And so what I'm saying is the Greek people could make fabulous food. Harry Reneglu, his parents owned a diner in Millville that now Yilmaz's dad owns. But what you look at now is the Turkish people have taken, and they thank God for them. I mean, you got Yilmaz and his dad at the 2 restaurants here, the Queens. You've got the guys that have the Golden Pigeon, the Morris River Diner, and the Town Tavern in Bridgeton, the Akili family. They're all great Turkish people. And tell everybody about your favorite place.
Yes, well, it's the Black Diamond in Buena Borough. It's on Central Avenue, Minnetonka. And it's been there for, I'm going to say, roughly 5 to 6 years. It was the
really? Wow.
It was the old Vinny's Deli and restaurant.
Okay.
So it was an Italian restaurant then. Prior to that was Papoli's parts store way back in the day.
I remember that. Yeah.
So they've done various renovations, but the gentleman's name is Jimmy. He's Turkish.
Uh-huh.
He and his family operate that in Minnetonka. They put almost, I would say, almost $1 million in renovations.
Wow.
It's also beautiful inside. Terrific food, service. In fact, we just had my reception from swearing in last week there.
Well, that's great.
So we had almost 100 people in there.
Wow.
We were almost at capacity. But it's just a very good little restaurant right in the center of Buena Borough in the Minnetonka section. And I'm happy they're there. I mean, like I said, and they're very good, reasonable. It's great service.
That's
and,
great.
So if you're ever in Buena Borough, look up the Black Diamond. And I believe his brother-in-law owns the one across the street from the Armory. You just mentioned.
Okay, yes.
Golden Pigeon. Right?
Golden Palace.
Golden Palace.
Yeah.
I believe that's his.
Oh, no kidding. Well,
brother-in-law.
I've been in there a few times.
When I worked in Millville, one of my former bosses, we used to go there like every other week for lunch.
Yeah.
And
again, they all do a fabulous job wherever you go, and we appreciate that. In fact, I told a couple of friends of mine we're going to go up to the Black Diamond after you told me how good it was, because you like to find different places to go from time to time, and that will be wonderful. We're talking with my cousin, Joe Baruffi, who is the mayor of Buena Borough, and we'll be back with more with Joe right after these messages.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
In South Jersey, we do things our own way. We say things out loud, face things head on, and never back down. And that's how we fight cancer. With the most advanced diagnostics, leading-edge technology, and a team of doctors who know how to treat your cancer. And most importantly, we do it right here at the Frank and Edith Scarpa Cancer Center, Vineland, and the Leading Edge Cancer Center, Mullica Hill.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight here at the beautiful Queen Restaurant at Lincoln Avenue and Landis Avenue in Vineland. It's a beautiful place. If you haven't been in, come on in. And you can get 2 full meals from soup to dessert for just $30. 2 for $30. And if you're by yourself, it is $16. It's $1 more. But that's still a great deal as well. And I want to thank Mayor Fanucci for all the times he's been with us. And he should be back again next month. And certainly I want to thank, you just mentioned him, your basketball guy, Paul Spinelli, for filling in for me, as I've been off for a few months or a month or so as well. But Joe, as we look at the good things that Buena Borough has going forward, we talked about the Black Diamond, we talked about Liberty Village. Is there any other things that are either happening or happened that you may?
Well, as far as happenings there, the Padre Pio Shrine on Route 40
I've been
with
there.
the D'Andreas.
Yeah, absolutely.
That holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marie is active to this day, and our faith in the Lord and Padre Pio, the miracles that they have 200 and some documented.
Wow.
I mean, that have occurred.
That's super.
So the power of prayer, and that has been there again in my first term. We get people from all down the East Coast, Jim. I mean, that come to that site, and they're not only Catholics, non-denominational. Wow. I mean, you don't have to be a Catholic to go there and worship.
Yeah.
And that's been a great place in Buena Borough. Has put us on the map. Bellevue Winery.
Oh yeah, I've been there. That's very nice. Yes.
In the Landisville section, the Corella family have been there for years and years.
Yeah.
Very friendly with Jimmy Corella. And they bring a lot of people. They bring a lot to the table, especially during the spring and summer and fall.
Yeah, I've been there several times.
Yeah,
very
they
nice.
host different events. It's just not wine.
They have meet and greets. They have a lot of nice things that go on there. They really do.
Music, entertainment.
Yes, right. Yeah.
So that's been really good and worthwhile in the borough. We have again a pizzeria, Maurizio's, that just came in off of 54 and 40. That was an Italian restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And the Velasquez had originally owned that complex.
Gotcha.
We have Dunkin' Donuts on the corner. but Maurizio's is a pretty hot spot as far as all kind of pizzas.
That's all you up there too?
That's it's Buena Borough. Across the street's Buena Vista.
Oh, okay.
That's where the line is.
Well, Bruni's was in there for a while.
Bruni's was in there way back when.
Yep.
But we have all that, the dollar store there.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then down 40, we have Pavilion Pizzeria, who they were in for a long time. They had stopped business, and then they just reactivated this past year.
Oh, wow.
It's an Italian, all homemade Italian food.
Why would you have Italian food in Buena Borough?
Yeah, so we have 2 eateries that are really good down that section.
Oh, that's good.
Of our borough. Amigos. We do have some Mexican
that's great.
Restaurants there that are doing well. So that industry is doing well. Right now, what I have to learn about, Jim, and that was I'm inheriting, is cannabis.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you.
City of Violent, I know they've been dealing with it.
Yeah.
And again, this is all new to me. So I haven't been in office for a week, and I've been trying to tackle issues that are high priority.
Yeah.
And as you know, the budgets of any municipality are high priority.
Exactly.
So I met with my auditor this past week and all, but and help in formulation of the budget, which includes fire rescue, road infrastructure, all that kind of stuff. But the cannabis is now over and beyond whatever I had to look at and deal with.
Yeah. Wow.
So I find myself right now educating myself with how to deal with these licenses.
Right.
I think there's 6 that we have on the books right now
Wow.
for growth and manufacturing and
that's
agriculture.
Great.
And we have 1 retail. So
that's good.
So I think there's 7 we have to deal with. Again, I'm doing an investigation. I'm talking to my attorney.
Right.
Ricky Tennant is my attorney also.
Super guy.
Great guy. We went to school with him.
Doug
Allen is my council president, public safety director.
That's right. I do remember. He was the chief of police.
He was chief of police for many years.
That's good.
Now Doug and I.
That's a great thing to happen for public safety.
Yes, we're closely together. But Doug has been on the land use board from council, and he's been really dealing and making the best with these licenses.
Oh, that's good.
Because, again, it's not that Buena opted in at the time when they had to register, but from what I understand, they were one of 3 towns that chose no action.
Oh, okay.
So at that time, if you don't choose any action, you're assigned.
Oh,
you get it by default.
Oh, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's
and
good.
That's what happened in the prior administration. So me personally, it's not my thing. It's not what I would want to promote.
Yeah.
But as mayor, I have to put those personal feelings aside. And if this is what I have to administer and move forward, I'm willing to do it now for the best of the borough. So,
well, it also can bring in some revenue to the borough.
That's the only good side.
2%. Yeah, I agree. Because who's going to want to have the selling of the place near them? You know what I mean? That's the other problem.
So, I know the land use is involved with DeSauce, but so is the council. So this is something new going back into the administration that I have to look at again. This time around, we have a full rescue squad, unit rescue squad right now, 24/7.
Wow.
So
you need that with Liberty Village. So.
Yeah. Well, we have 3 senior apartments too.
Oh, that's super.
We have the Buena Gardens, Parkview Gardens, and Buena Terrace.
Oh, that's good.
And they're all income based.
Right.
So they provide housing for seniors who couldn't afford their homes.
Right.
Whereas
good.
Liberty Village, you need money.
You sure do. Yeah, the lot fee's pretty high.
I'm not saying all those people are rich there, but you need
Well, you got
money
Nelson Albano. He's
there. You go.
There you go.
Yeah, probably listening, right? No, but that's a whole different type of element where it's independent.
It exactly.
But we do have 3 very affordable housing complexes for seniors.
That's wonderful.
The one that I spearheaded at an old school site in Minatola was the latest one, which is Buena Gardens, who Hans Lampard.
I remember that. Yes, I was there when.
You know Hans,
yeah,
right?
I do. I think the world of Hans. Yep.
Lannis Avenue.
Exactly. He's over at Newcomb Hospital area.
Yeah, I brought Hans to.
That's right. That's when I first met him because he was retrofit. Yes. Yeah, I was over there.
But 78 units, 3-level high rise. I live down the street from that. So I walk. I try to walk 3 or 4 miles a day. And I met a lot of the residents there who walk.
Oh, that's how you won.
There you go, yeah. Senior citizen vote, definitely. Now I'm a senior citizen.
Yeah, me too.
Talk about the senior citizen vote. Now I'm looking at myself. It's all good, though.
I wanted to back up for a minute with Padre Pio.
Yes.
Pearl Giordano took me with one of the most wonderful men I'd ever known in my life. He was my partner in Clover Cable. His name was Joe O'Donnell. Joe lived in Vineland. Wonderful. He had gotten pancreatic cancer. So Pearl and I and Joe went over and prayed at Padre Pio Shrine and all that stuff. And unfortunately, with pancreatic cancer, Joe didn't live that long. But I wanted to mention that Joe's family, his wife Pat just recently passed away. She was a sweetheart. And he has his 3 children, Sean and David, and I'm trying to think of the daughter's name, but I will in a minute, Katie. And they were swimmers for Vineland High School. But the one person I wanted to mention is his niece. His niece was Lene Bowers. Lene rose to the captain's position in the Vineland Police Department.
Wow.
And she just retired. So Lene, I want to wish you the best in your retirement. And thank you for your service to the city of Vineland. The first female captain in the city of Buena ever had. And I know how proud she was of her Uncle Joe. In fact, her mom actually ran our cable television offices for us in Clover Cable. We had 6 townships in the southern part of Cumberland County. So and I thank you for your service and congratulations on your retirement. So you'll never retire, right? You'd be bored.
Doesn't look like,
no.
like that right now.
People say to me, Jim, when are you going to retire? And I used to say this. I said, well, when I drop dead on the set, and somebody just, now I'll have to say, get Skip Luisi or somebody to come pick me up, because at that time, talking about the Rocap Shannon, but that's changed a little bit.
I guess you could say, Jim, it's in my blood. I mean, I'm a people person.
Yeah, me too. And you love helping people.
And I love helping people. I was an educator for 38 years.
Yeah, wow.
It's just, I've been blessed. I found my passion early in teaching. Went to counseling for 10 years, taught 11, and probably the least favorite part of my 38-year career was administration. Yeah. Because the reason being, you're away from the kids more. You're dealing with staff, parental things, and the kids sort of, But the only thing, when I went back and got my master's degrees in education, if you want to make any type of real money, or good money, administration is where it's at.
Be.
And that's what led me there.
Counselor, weren't you? Weren't you in a guidance?
For 10 years, I was at Silver Run.
Yeah. Oh, that's
and Buena for 3 years in counseling. I taught 11 in Buena. And then my last 17 were
Lakeside.
Yeah. Yeah, which was a great opening, great school. I mean, the Millville Founding Fathers, whatever they did, that credential to switch to school.
I was mad at them. They took a rateable away from me.
Let me tell you what, they made
nice.
The best. They retrofitted
they did.
A building that was beautiful, solid, and were able to get grant money. Millville was smart. I mean, it was Abbott back then, and they funded those 2 gyms in that. Your Fine and Performing Arts Center.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't see that in high schools.
No.
If you've been to Lakeside Middle School,
it's beautiful.
You need to go to their Fine and Performing Arts Center. It's beautiful.
Nick Casella was just talking about that on the show he was doing. With,
Nick was involved then, I believe.
That's it. Yeah, he was talking about bringing in. He was senator then. He was bringing a lot of that money in.
A lot of that
money.
He
said what you just said about Millville. I wanted to ask you, have you met Tony Trongone?
No, I have not.
Oh my God!
I've been out of Millville 8 years now.
I got to introduce you to him. He is one of the most wonderful people you'll ever, again, another Italian that you'll ever meet in your life. What a great guy! He's put in a new artificial, the turf football field, and really remodeled the whole area, with the nice fencing and all that kind of stuff. But what a wonderful man, and what he's done for the Millville schools, and of course the new high schools finally opened and stuff like that. But he, again, goes along with that theory that I've never met a bad Italian there. He is a wonderful person. So you'll have to meet him sometime. We'll get together. We'll meet at the Black Diamond on his way home.
That's right.
Because he lives up in Runnymede. So,
but Jim, getting back to my mayorship this time around, a big difference too is, even though we're all Republicans by party, I have 6 people up there with me in council that bleed Buena. They're all homegrown Buena people. Doug Adams, I mentioned, my council president. Right. I have Marina Barsoya on there, who's head of my recreation council and oversees the commission of recreation. Former school board member, regional. She's doing a fantastic job. Patricia Andalora, public buildings and grounds. Patty's been in Buena for years. Married Richie Andalora. Just a great lady who's came back like I did after being retired for so many years.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
She was a returnee. I have George Alvarez, my former student, head of our finance, who George has been there all his life.
Oh, that's good.
And then I have Frank DiStefano, who was one of my former students too, who's going to be heading my roads and buildings, streets and roads.
Right.
And then I have Richard Batcham Giovinazzi, who's the head of the inspections department.
That's it.
Within the borough, subcodes, inspections, planning and zoning department. So again, I sort of handpicked
some great people. Yeah,
all those people.
Yeah. Well, that's nice
all,
too.
Yeah, they're all just Buena people who believe Buena, and whether we're gonna disagree on things, to agree on some things. And I told them I want that type of dialogue.
Yeah, right.
If you have a question in the council meeting, if you have something beforehand, afterhand, one thing about my leadership style, even when I was an educator, I was collaborative.
Yeah,
I still don't have all
You're
the
not
answers.
a dictator. No.
I don't think I ever will have all the answers. I know all. So I think it's important to listen, and listen with intent of, you know what, this is a good idea. Let's try it.
Yeah.
It's not Joe Baruffi's
Right.
planet or town that, I'm going to take my council members and take consensus and move the ball with it. Because, again, I think in government in general, we get a bad rap because we form these divisions and these lines.
Yeah.
In Buena, I said in my speech when I took over last week, we are Buena Borough, we are one.
Yeah.
Even though we have 3 sections, we are one Buena Borough for all the people. So I don't care what section you live.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the advocate for all of you.
That's nice.
And that's what I want my governing body to be.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was funny, speaking of that, when I first got elected mayor of Millville, it was the best 4 years I ever had in office. We were all independent, although we hadn't registered, but we all ran as ourselves.
Right.
And Jeff Trout was number 2 to me, and he was a registered Republican, but we didn't play politics at all. And then Jimmy Parent, who had been the mayor, Joey Dorella, is a great guy, was county freeholder director for quite a while. And John Hollingshead, one of the nicest gentlemen to ever meet in your life. In fact, it was 25 years ago last year, so we had a get-together with 4. Of course, John had passed away, and we reminisced and talked about, we did a lot of good things during that 4-year period of time.
We worked together.
Exactly, Joe. It really worked out well, and I was really pleased with it. And again, it's the people that you have to work with. And, you have a good way with people, and you love people, and helping them, and all that kind of stuff. But what a great community that you have with Buena Borough.
It really is. It's I call it the Mayberry RFD when I retired the first time around. And I left, and I said, growing up as a kid, I remember Mayberry RFD.
Yeah, me too.
And Buena Borough, especially back then when I grew up, it was so similar.
Yeah.
The similarities were unbelievable. But to this day, we're still small enough with 5,000 people and less,
That's nice,
7.5 square miles, that you can keep that close-knit type of family.
Yeah.
Whereas in Millville or City of Vineland,
so big.
you're dealing with 65,000 people.
Exactly.
In Millville, 30,000 people. Yeah. It's hard to get that sense of a small-time pride. But we always said, Buena's small-town pride. That's going to be my goal and mission moving ahead these next 4 years. I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But with a cooperative council, and I think it could be done and achieved.
Yeah, I do too, and I'm happy for you, Joe, and I'm happy for the people of Buena Borough that you decided to come back, and Jill let you come back. Thank you, Jill.
Yeah.
God bless you for doing that. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention one of my very favorite cousins, who happens to be your father-in-law, Harry Curley, and Harry was mayor of Vineland. Yeah. And in fact, I said to Joe, when Harry was mayor of Vineland, I was freeholder director, Jimmy Parent was mayor of Millville, and Don Rainier was mayor of Bridgeton, and the 4 of us would get together, talk about what we can do to help each city and the county and all that stuff. And Harry is an amazing man.
Jim, when you talk about blessed, and I say this from my heart, I'm truly blessed to have a father-in-law like Harry.
Yeah. Well, he's blessed to have a son-in-law like you, too.
I lost my dad when I was 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I got to tell you, the next closest thing to dad has been my father-in-law, Harry Curley.
Yeah,
so he's been with me. I've been with Jill for almost 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
48 years together,
fantastic.
44 married.
Wow.
But Harry's been a father figure, just a great guy, and couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, well, I second that motion. That's for sure.
I know he always always loved you and the family.
Yeah.
Like yourself, you guys value family. I remember the Curly get-togethers.
Yeah, I was just
going as a young man and taking Jill taking me.
Yeah, going
and having my oldest daughter carrying her around 40. My oldest daughter's about 43 years.
That's what my oldest daughter is.
Yeah, so we're carrying Krista around.
That's true.
The Curly
Kelly, because they had the pool. It was over at Probasco's.
Yeah,
that was cousin.
He was involved with Cumberland Regional, right? He was the president of the board there.
Exactly. Yeah, and his son Billy, what a great kid.
People.
He's with Cumberland Christian School. He's been involved. Bill has, and his son went there, Liam.
I remember those days, Jim.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
But boy, Joe, when you think about it, the Curly family, like we said, they had 9 brothers, 3 sisters.
Yeah.
So from there, you keep spreading out. We had close to 100 people, and it was a big place.
I remember
the Probasco place. They had a nice
remember your mom
pool.
and dad every reunion. They were faithful in there, and
it was great to see family and all the people that were out there. You know, again,
Aunt Mary,
lucky. Yes,
right?
Yep. Aunt Mary.
Your Aunt Mary.
Yes,
yep.
Aunt Mary Ayers. Yep.
Ayers.
Yeah, you do remember that was Owen was her son-in-law.
That's right. What a sweet lady she was.
Yeah,
your mother was too. Your mother was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
My sister Julie taught at St. Mary's in Magdalen.
That's right.
She knew your mother because of your oldest son, Gary.
Gary went there. Yep.
And I guess your mom was very involved.
Yeah.
With the school.
Exactly.
And I remember my sister Julie Bertnese talking what a great lady your mother.
That's nice. Yeah, she was.
She
just would have celebrated her heavenly birthday on Christmas Day. Would have been 100 years old. No, 101 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was born Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's something, but.
A lot of good memories.
It sure is, Joe. Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'd love to have you again sometime soon. So hopefully we'll get back and we'll go to the Black Diamond.
We'll check that out. Bring it to Buena next time.
Yeah, exactly. It would be wonderful. George Kachia, thank you for producing the show. Otley, thanks for all your help today. George was with me at 40-some years now, and Otley started with me when he was 13 years old. So, and now Otley's 26. Now Otley just retired after a great career, corrections, and is a super person. Anyway, thank you all for being with us. I want to thank Yelmaz and everybody here at the wonderful Queen Restaurant. Joe and I are going to pick up our desserts on the way out. 2 for $30, a meal, turkey, stuffing, Brussels sprouts, salad, and dessert for $15. That's it. So come on over.
Can't beat it.
No, you can't. Great place, beautiful restaurant. And again, stop in and see them sometime. For everybody here at Quinn Broadcasting, thanks for joining us. We'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.